Your mindset is built, not born. Most people live as if their mindset is something they were given, like a fixed trait they have to carry for the rest of their lives. They say things like, "This is just how I am," or "I have always been like this," without realizing that this belief alone is what keeps them stuck. Your mindset is not something you are born with. It is something you build.
Every thought you repeat, every reaction you reinforce, every decision you make is shaping the way your mind operates. Over time, these patterns become automatic, and what was once built starts to feel permanent. From a neurological perspective, your brain is constantly adapting. This is called neuroplasticity. The more you think in a certain way, the stronger those neural pathways become. But this works both ways. If your current mindset was built through repetition, it can also be rebuilt through new repetition. The problem is not your mindset. The problem is that most of it was created unconsciously. You absorbed beliefs from your environment, your experiences, and the people around you. And without questioning them, you accepted them as truth. But once you understand that your mindset is constructed, everything changes. Because what is built can be rebuilt. This is where control begins. Not when you try to force change, but when you realize that change is already happening all the time. The only question is whether you are directing it or letting it happen by default. You cannot change what you do not see. And this is where most people fail before they even begin. They try to improve, they try to evolve, they try to build a stronger mindset, but they are operating blindly. They focus on actions without understanding the patterns driving those actions. Your life is being shaped by automatic thoughts, emotional triggers, and repeated behaviors that run in the background. You wake up, think in the same way, react in the same way, make similar decisions, and expect different results. Not because you are incapable, but because you are unaware. Awareness is the ability to observe yourself without immediately reacting or justifying what you see. It is noticing how you think when things go wrong, how you speak to yourself under pressure, how you respond when you are uncomfortable. These moments reveal your real mindset, not the one you think you have. From a psychological perspective, this is the shift from autopilot to conscious processing. When you become aware, you interrupt automatic patterns. And the moment a pattern is interrupted, it becomes something you can change. Start paying attention in real time. Catch your thoughts when they appear. Notice your reactions as they happen. Do not try to fix them immediately. Just see them clearly. Because clarity comes before control. And once you see your patterns without distortion, you can no longer pretend they are not there. That is the moment where real change becomes possible. Question: everything you believe. Most of what you believe about yourself is not something you consciously chose. It was absorbed from your environment, your experiences, the way people treated you, and the meaning you gave to those moments. Over time, these beliefs stopped feeling like interpretations and started feeling like facts. This is where the problem begins. Because once a belief feels like truth, you stop questioning it. If you believe you are not disciplined, you act accordingly. If you believe you are not capable, you hesitate. And every action you take ends up reinforcing the belief you never examined. From a psychological standpoint, this is confirmation bias. Your mind looks for evidence to prove what you already believe. It filters reality in a way that keeps your current identity intact. Even when opportunities appear, you unconsciously reject them because they do not match your internal narrative. The habit here is deliberate questioning, not casually, but intentionally. When a limiting thought appears, stop and ask, is this objectively true, or is this something I learned to believe? That question alone begins to break the automatic acceptance. Then go deeper. Look for evidence against that belief. Times where you acted differently, moments where you proved yourself wrong. They exist, but you have been ignoring them. Beliefs are not fixed truths. They are repeated thoughts that gained authority over time. And once you challenge that authority, you create space for a new way of thinking. This is how mindset evolves. Not by adding more information, but by removing what was never true to begin with. Control your mental inputs. Your mind does not operate in isolation. It is constantly being shaped by what you consume. Every video, every conversation, Every piece of content you expose yourself to is influencing how you think, what you believe, and how you feel. And most of this happens without your awareness. If your inputs are chaotic, negative, and shallow, your mindset will reflect that. Not because you chose it consciously, but because repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity shapes perception. Over time, what you consume becomes the lens through which you see the world. From a neurological perspective, your brain is always adapting to patterns. The more you are exposed to certain ideas, the more your brain starts to normalize them. If you constantly consume distraction, your focus weakens. If you constantly consume negativity, your emotional state follows. The habit here is intentional filtering. You do not need to eliminate everything, but you need to become selective. Ask yourself, is this strengthening my mindset or weakening it? If the answer is unclear, pay attention to how you feel after consuming it. Start replacing passive consumption with purposeful input, content that challenges you, expands your perspective, and forces you to think differently. Conversations that elevate your standards instead of reinforcing your limitations. Because your mindset is not only built by what you think, but by what you repeatedly expose yourself to. Change your inputs, and you begin to change the structure of your thoughts. You do not become something once. You become something repeatedly. One action does not define you, but patterns do. And the most dangerous illusion is thinking that small actions do not matter. Because in isolation, they seem insignificant. But over time, they compound into identity. Every time you act in a certain way, you are casting a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you avoid something difficult, you reinforce the identity of someone who avoids. When you follow through, even when it is uncomfortable, you reinforce the identity of someone who executes. From a neurological standpoint, repetition strengthens neural pathways. The more you repeat a behavior, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, it requires less effort, less thought, and less resistance. This is how habits turn into identity. The problem is that most people focus on outcomes instead of patterns. They want to feel confident, disciplined, or focused, but they ignore the daily actions that create those states. Identity is not something you declare. It is something you prove to yourself through repetition. The habit here is consistency at a micro level. Do not wait for big changes. Focus on small, repeatable actions that align with the person you want to become. Because in the end, your mindset is not defined by what you intend to do. It is defined by what you consistently do. And once a pattern is repeated enough times, it stops being something you try to do and becomes something you naturally are. Most people are controlled by the present moment. What feels good now? What is easy now? What avoids discomfort now? And without realizing it, they trade long-term growth for short-term relief. This is one of the biggest obstacles to developing a strong mindset. Your brain is wired for immediate rewards. It seeks pleasure and avoids pain. But if you follow that instinct without awareness, you end up reinforcing patterns that keep you stuck. Because what is easy now is often costly later, and what is difficult now is often valuable later. From a psychological perspective, this is the ability to delay gratification. It is not about denying yourself, but about prioritizing what truly matters. It is understanding that your future is being built by what you choose in the present. The habit here is to shift your decision-making process. Before acting, ask yourself, does this move me forward or just make me feel better right now? That question forces you to step out of impulse and into intention. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. You will notice how often you are pulled toward immediate relief. But that awareness is exactly what you need. Because once you see it, you can start choosing differently. Thinking long-term changes your entire perspective. You stop reacting to the moment and start acting in alignment with where you want to go. And when your decisions are guided by the future instead of the present, your mindset stops being reactive and starts becoming strategic. Your instinct is to avoid discomfort. Everyone's is. The moment something feels difficult, uncertain, or painful, your mind looks for a way out. But here is the truth most people never accept. Discomfort is not the obstacle. It is the path. Every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the same version of yourself. The version that stays where it is safe, predictable, and limited. But every time you move toward discomfort with awareness, you expand your capacity. You prove to yourself that you can handle more than you thought. From a neurological standpoint, growth happens at the edge of your current limits. When you face something challenging, your brain is forced to adapt. New connections are formed, new responses are developed. But this only happens if you stay in the process long enough. The habit here is to stop interpreting discomfort as a signal to retreat. Instead, see it as feedback, a sign that you are stepping outside of what is familiar. This does not mean reckless behavior. It means intentional exposure, choosing challenges that push you without breaking you, staying in situations that demand growth instead of escaping them. At first, discomfort feels like resistance, but over time it starts to feel like progress, because you begin to associate it with expansion instead of fear. And this is where your mindset shifts. When you stop avoiding discomfort, you stop avoiding growth. And when that happens, your limits start to move. Build mental clarity through silence. Your mind is overloaded. Constant noise, constant input, constant stimulation. You move from one distraction to another without giving your thoughts space to settle. And over time, this creates confusion. Not because you lack intelligence, but because you lack clarity. Clarity does not come from more information. It comes from less noise. When you are always consuming, reacting, and engaging, your mind stays in a reactive state. You think faster, but not deeper. You respond more, but understand less. And this weakens your ability to make intentional decisions. From a neurological perspective, silence allows your brain to process and organize information. It activates networks responsible for reflection, self-awareness, and insight. Without these moments, your thinking becomes shallow and scattered. The habit here is to create intentional silence, not as an escape, but as a tool. Step away from constant input. Sit without distractions. Let your thoughts surface without immediately reacting to them. At first, this will feel uncomfortable. You will notice how restless your mind is, how quickly it seeks stimulation. That discomfort is not a problem. It is a signal that you have been avoiding stillness. But if you stay with it, something changes. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become sharper. You start seeing patterns you were too distracted to notice before. Silence is not empty. It is where your mind reorganizes itself. And once you make space for it, your mindset becomes more precise, more intentional, and far more powerful. As long as you blame something outside of you, you give away your power. Circumstances, other people, bad timing, unfair situations. Some of these may be real, but focusing on them keeps you stuck. Because if the cause is outside of you, the solution is also outside of you. Responsibility changes that, not as a burden, but as control. Taking responsibility does not mean everything is your fault. It means everything is your responsibility to respond to. That shift is what separates passive thinking from powerful thinking. From a psychological perspective, this is called an internal locus of control. When you believe your actions influence your outcomes, you become proactive. When you believe everything is happening to you, you become reactive. The habit here is simple, but uncomfortable. Stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What can I do about this?" That question forces you out of victim thinking and into action. You may not control the situation, but you always control your response. And your response is what determines your direction. At first, this level of responsibility feels heavy, because it removes excuses. But at the same time, it gives you something far more valuable: ownership. And once you take ownership, your mindset shifts completely. You stop waiting for change and start creating it. This is where real growth accelerates. Because when everything becomes your responsibility, everything also becomes your opportunity. Become the architect of your mind. At this point, you understand something most people never realize. Your mindset is not something you find, it is something you design. And whether you are aware of it or not, you have been designing it your entire life. The difference now is intention. Most people live mentally on autopilot. They think what they are used to thinking, react how they are used to reacting, and stay within patterns they never question. But once you see the structure behind your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors, you can no longer go back to unconscious living. From a psychological and philosophical perspective, this is where agency becomes real. You stop being shaped by default and start shaping yourself deliberately. Every thought you reinforce, every habit you repeat, every belief you accept becomes a conscious decision. The habit here is integration, not learning more, but applying what you already know. Observing your patterns, questioning your beliefs, controlling your inputs, choosing your responses, embracing discomfort, and acting with consistency. Because knowledge without execution does nothing. But execution, repeated over time, transforms everything. There is a moment where this stops feeling like effort and starts feeling like identity, where discipline becomes natural, clarity becomes normal, and control becomes your default state. And that is the shift. You are no longer reacting to life, you are directing it. This is what it means to develop your mindset, not improving what is already there, but becoming the one who decides what will be there.